Hello, my jewels and gems, my precious stones, my undiscovered diamonds. Welcome to my channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Today we are going to be talking about something that might make a lot of people feel uncomfortable, but it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all. Why? We're going to be discussing hair and tattoos. That's right. I live with this. Yes, I have been natural for so many years. I think my first big job was 2011. In 2013, I got weak, just a little, and I went back to a relaxer. That's my story. If you like the relaxer, rock it, because it looks good on you. But I went back to the natural hair after I had my son in 2014. One thing I can say about hair, they evolved over the years. It's evolved, especially in the work environment. California has the Crown Act, and if you need details about it, just definitely go and look it up and research it. And I'm based in Alabama. So Georgia now has its own version of the Crown Act that is possibly going to be passed. I encourage everyone to just remember, when you are applying for jobs and on the job, a lot of times it's going to depend on the company. My rule of thumb in my personal life is I always want to be neat and professional. Again, that is different in the eyes of the beholder, and that's something that you have to try and work out and talk to your superiors about, or talk to your local HR or any type of management, senior leadership representation of what that looks like at your company or the company that you are applying for. A lot of companies have changed, but a lot have not. And that's based on the industry that they are in. They have rules and regulations that govern that. A lot of companies, if they have someone in a position that is customer facing, then your hair and tattoos will be scrutinized just a little bit more, because that could run the risk of losing potential business based on someone's appearance. I know it's not something people want to hear, but it is the truth, and to a certain extent it is valid. I always aim for professionalism in your look and neatness. Professionalism and neatness, to me, working in the HR industry, looks totally different than maybe a supervisor. I won't say it's more strict. I would say that I'm looking at it from a perspective of, what does this hair or what do these tattoos and even piercings affect when it comes to the customer and the presentation of the individual that represents the company. These are things we have to keep in mind, because if there's someone who's working on in the back office, say a cash office, many of our larger box stores or chain stores have cash offices, and it's mainly for accounting purposes. Me personally, I would not scrutinize someone for hair that was purple or pink or some type of, half up, half down, half shaved mohawk. I wouldn't criticize or scrutinize someone for that position, because they're not customer facing. And most of the time they walk in when people are not in the store, and they walk out when there's a thinner crowd of people at the store. So my critical eye would not be as judgmental or critical for someone that worked in that position. Again, that's something that I always recommend. Talk to the company, talk to the bosses, see what works, what doesn't, because a lot of times a happy medium can be achieved if the conversation is just started and people get understanding. Tattoos and piercing, again, they're a little bit different. There are some positions in all different work industries that require a little more of a toned down look when it comes to piercings and tattoos. There are many people out there, and there are many pictures of people with full sleeves, tattoos up to their necks, ankles, and every day they go to work, that's because they're in such a professional industry. They either have shirts up to their neck or to their wrist, or always wear pants, or they wear body makeup. And that's okay too as well. Until we get to a point where those things are openly accepted in all industries, then you have to abide by the rules of the company or the rules of the industry, depending on your position. Research the position. And always remember, if it's customer facing, those visual guidelines for the individual are going to be a little more strict. But if it's not customer facing, open up the dialogue and see if you can meet the superiors halfway on a request, because at the end of the day, it's hair. You know, you can change your hair. You can't change your tattoo. You could, but it's hard and expensive. And piercings, once the ear has the holes, or once the holes are there, they're there. And that's personal choice. That's just personal choice. And they look good. I'm gonna be honest, they look good. But we have to keep it in mind when we're job seeking and trying to go to the next level. This is not a knock on any hair type or any type of haircut or style. It's not a knock on tattoos or piercing, but just keep in mind that you might have to adapt depending on the customer facing position, depending on the industry, and depending on the state. But just start the conversation, and always start where you are, even if you mess up.